Say again?
You can put the papers under the mic,
Okay.
my mic.
Thanks.
Are you guys all good?
Want to give us a sound check there?
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. My name is Jose Santiago. I'm the communications manager here at the Glendale Police Department. We are here to announce an arrest in the murder of Irma Rivera Martinez. This was a heinous, vicious murder, and it took our detectives less than a week to get the person responsible behind bars. With that, I'm going to bring up Officer Gina Wynn, and that's Ginawinn, and she will go over the details of the arrest as well as the initial incident.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for coming. We did, like Jose Santiago said, we wanted to provide an update on the murder of Irma Rivera Martinez. First and foremost, we want to offer our condolences to the family. There's no justification for such a heinous and senseless act. Our hearts genuinely go out to the family. Second, we want to acknowledge the tireless work of our officers and detectives. They brought justice to this family, and we take our roles very seriously. So justice for this family is also justice for this profession. With that said, an arrest was made in this case. The suspect has been identified as 20-year-old Mohammed Hussein Atayi. I'm going to discuss a little bit about what happened and what brought our detectives to identifying Atayi as the suspect. On April 21st, at approximately 9:19 p.m., our officers responded to the Chevron gas station located at 51st Avenue in Glendale after a clerk had called police saying somebody had been shot. When our officers arrived, they discovered Irma, a 25-year-old female, who was down within the store. She had sustained more than 10 gunshot wounds and was unfortunately pronounced deceased on scene. In speaking with the clerk, they advised the subject who had caused the shooting was wearing all black as well as a black mask and entered the Chevron, walked up to Irma, and fired approximately 10 shots in Irma's direction. Video from the Chevron corroborated this clerk's story. It showed that Atayi had entered the Chevron and walked up to Irma, who was stocking items along the shelf. Irma walked to another area of the store, and Atayi followed her. He then fired his gun multiple times and fled the store on foot. Atayi was wearing really distinctive clothing in this case, which included a dark face mask and a pair of shoes which appeared to be old school flame shoes by Vans. They are a black and white shoe that have flames on the side of them. Further evidence showed that Atayi had parked a dark blue Toyota Camry in an alleyway down the street from the Chevron. He's seen exiting the vehicle prior to the homicide, and he returns to the vehicle after the homicide with a gun in his hand. He's also wearing the same clothes and ski mask, which is observed in the Chevron surveillance footage. Cameras in the area, which read license plates, assisted detectives in identifying Atayi's vehicle, which Atayi ended up being the registered owner of. Undercover detectives conducted surveillance on Atayi and his vehicle and later detained him. We then conducted a search warrant on his residence and vehicle, and during the execution of this search warrant, our detectives located the same clothing which was worn during the homicide, as well as the firearm which we believe to be involved with the homicide. At this time, we're unsure of the relationship between Atayi and Irma. It's still something that we're trying to work towards. Atayi was arrested, and he is being charged with 1 count of first-degree premeditated murder. We're also going to provide the media with surveillance footage of Atayi entering the Chevron as well as exiting the Chevron. And again, we really want to offer condolences to Irma's family. This really is a horrible, horrible crime. We're so glad that we can bring justice, and we're appreciative of the work of our department for bringing that justice to Irma's family.
Can you pronounce his name?
Yes, and I'll spell it for you as well. Mohammed Hussein Atayi. First name is Mohammad. Middle name Hussain. Last name Ataei. And he is 20 years old.
Can you repeat the last name? Spell
Ataei. Ataei.
And you mentioned you're a little unsure of the relationship at this time. Are you working with a motive right now? Any idea of why he did such a cruel act?
And that's something that we're still working towards. We do believe it's targeted. We don't believe that any of the community is at risk at this point, and we believe it's targeted for a number of reasons. So when Atayi parked his vehicle down the street, he circulated the area to check what was going on. It was in an alleyway, so it was kind of in an inconspicuous area. He walked to the Chevron, specifically located Irma, looked at her, shot her, and left immediately. There wasn't an attempt to rob the store or anything like that, so we do believe it was specifically targeted.
Do you know where the victim was shot on her body?
She had multiple gunshot wounds.
Family told me that she had been attacked about 2 months before.
Mhm.
Is it believed that he also did that?
We believe that's unrelated to this offense.
Unrelated person or related to the motive?
Unrelated completely in general. It's a totally separate incident.
Was there any evidence that the suspect had frequented the store before?
Not to my knowledge. I'm unaware if he had frequented it previously.
Do we have a mugshot of the suspect at the time?
I do not have his mugshot. I do have a photograph of him. When a mugshot is available, it'll be on the MCSO website.
Do you guys have previous contact with him?
We did have a previous contact with him. A traffic stop was conducted earlier in the year, and during this traffic, it was for speeding, and he was issued a citation. During this traffic stop, a firearm was on his person, which he identified, and it was the same firearm which was located during that search warrant, which we believe is associated with this offense. But we don't have any other criminal history with him.
Was he compliant when he was arrested? Did he struggle with officers or detectives?
Atayi was compliant. He was arrested without incident.
Gina, is he a resident of Glendale?
He is not.
And I think she asked it, but I'm sorry if I'm asking again. So you said the clerk didn't have any prior knowledge that he had visited the frequented that gas station before?
I'm not entirely sure if he had frequented it. He's familiar with the area, so it's quite possible that he had been there previously.
So he's familiar with the area but doesn't reside near the area?
That is correct.
And no evidence that he has any ties to the gas station otherwise? No friends who are also employees of there or anything like that?
Not to our knowledge at this time, and that's obviously things that we're going to follow up on. However, we can say that he is familiar with that area, so it is very possible that he has been to that gas station before.
And again, he was found connecting to this crime with the videos showing his car, and then the search warrant also showing the clothes that he wore during that crime and the weapon as well.
That's correct. So surveillance footage is really beneficial to detectives and officers when we're trying to solve crimes. We really encourage businesses and individuals to place surveillance cameras on their homes to protect themselves, as well as to assist us when we're trying to solve cases. So in this specific case, surveillance footage played a huge role in identifying Atayi. When he parked his vehicle in the alleyway, there were cameras in that alleyway which showed his vehicle, showed what he was wearing. The cameras at the Chevron watched him enter the store wearing the exact same clothes. They captured a portion of the incident. They captured him exiting the store wearing the same clothing, and they captured him returning to that vehicle with a firearm in his hand. In addition, there were more cameras and more surveillance footage which showed the vehicle traveling down the street. And then we have cameras which were able to capture that license plate. So surveillance footage is really imperative when we're trying to solve these crimes.
Can you say again when he was arrested?
He was arrested yesterday evening.
At his home?
Not at all.
And did you mention that he walked up to her and shot her, and did she see her? Did they make eye contact? Did he say anything to her?
We believe that they did make eye contact. As far as I know, there were no words exchanged.
I think it's really important to stress here that this was a really violent attack on this individual. This was most definitely targeted. Our detectives are still trying to determine exactly what the motive was behind all of this. But for someone to walk into a store and open fire on an individual, shooting them multiple times like this individual did, this was a very heinous attack. We want to take this opportunity to really stress the hard work that our detectives did. It took them less than a week to make an arrest in this case. This was a lot of surveillance video that they had to go through, a lot of people that they had to speak to. The shoes were very distinct on this individual, and they were able to find the box that the shoes were bought in, as well as the receipt for that box. So we were able to positively identify this individual by the clothing as well as the surveillance video. I also want to take this opportunity to recognize Councilmember Jamie Aldama. He's here. I think he would like to say a couple of words to you as well.
Hello, I am Councilmember Aldama, and I represent the downtown Ocotillo district where this heinous, horrific crime occurred. And my condolences to the family. We are saddened for you, and the city of Glendale mourns with you and for you. I want to thank Chief Briggs and his entire police officers, women and men, and his team for bringing justice so swiftly for the family and beginning the beginning steps of closure for the family. And I want our Glendale residents and those who live in the Ocotillo district and the visitors, you remain safe. We remain a warm, welcoming community, and I'm confident in our police chief and the police officers of the city of Glendale will continue to patrol and keep you safe. And this was a targeted, heinous attack that we condone none of it at all. And again, I want to thank all of the police officers involved and all of our team with the city of Glendale. Thank you.
If you guys don't have any further questions, we have a release for you all. We have a photograph of the suspect. We will be emailing those as well to your desk, as well as the copy of the Form 4, as well as the copy of the video of the suspect entering and exiting the convenience store. I want to point out in that video, it takes a moment for him to walk in, so let the video play a little bit. You will see a suspect walking in, all in dark clothing. He's in that convenience store for less than a minute. So this entire act took place in less than a minute, and you will see him exiting the store in a very swift manner. So it's quite obvious that he knew what he was doing and made an escape quickly as well. We want to thank you guys also for all the coverage that you guys have provided in this case. It certainly helps when you are able to provide that information to the public and show that we can get information that we need from the public to get this person out off the street. Thank you again.